afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4 on this Friday.
It's Friday, potentially very stormy Friday, and that's leading our news.
That is topping our headlines today. Our first warned weather team is tracking potential severe storms in our area. Meteorologist Greg Barnhart will break it down for us in just a minute.
In other news, 2 suspects are in custody after a shooting on Madison's west side turned deadly yesterday.
And a Manhattan grand jury's indictment of former President Trump is expected to be unsealed on Tuesday. Let's take a look outside. The calm before the storm. Boy, it warmed up in a hurry, didn't it?
It felt warmer and more humid today. You felt the humidity for the first time in a long time.
Tracking the storms, in other words, and Greg is over in the Weather Center doing just that.
Yeah, we still got the storms that are approaching. We've been one batch came up to Janesville, nothing severe yet, but we still got the threat going through this evening, probably about 8 to 9, and then things will really wind down pretty quickly. All the threats are available here, including tornado activity. Highest threat still remains south and southwest of Madison. As you go further north, it drops off quite quickly. Look at the tornado watch right now. We have to the west, it's till 8 p.m. Counties to the east, including Dane County, are now to about 10 p.m. So that's kind of what we're looking at. Anything further north pretty much drops off quickly, more stable air. Radar right now shows those 2 watch boxes. We've had another batch coming up to Waterloo. There are some warnings with those type of storms right now. And this batch I told you about, Janesville, kind of clipped them with some showers. This isn't severe quite yet. With a lot of lightning activity going on, it should kind of bypass Madison. We're waiting for things to fill in between, and your future cast will kind of show that when I get a close-up. But overall, you can see there's a shower activity towards Janesville. The severe stuff's west of Decorah, some hail and that. The tornado action is actually further south. That'll be coming up a little bit later. Future track shows what we're watching is this final line coming through here about 5:30 to 6 through about 8. That's the one that really has the potential to be severe, including tornado activity, hail, and even damaging wind as it starts racing off to the northeast here by the time we get to about 7 or 8. Once this passes, we might have some more, but I think that'll be the main action we'll see of. So as you time out, temperatures will just slowly, steadily in the 50s. We'll have scattered thunderstorms through about 10. Once we get past 10, then it's going to be starting to cool off till what we'll see tomorrow morning. When you wake up, it'll be a total different story. We'll be back to winter with those north winds. So coming up, I'll say when the threat will end, we'll time out more of those thunderstorms. We got back to winter coming Saturday, unfortunately, but it is looking like a calm Sunday. I'll break that all down a little bit later in the broadcast.
All right, a busy 4 or 5 hours coming up. Greg, thank you. Armand Rahman is in Platteville watching the weather for us there.
Armand, how's it looking there on this Friday afternoon?
Yeah, Mark and Susan, it's a bit overused in our industry, right? But calm before the storm is correct. There really isn't much happening right now other than high winds, a little bit of spots of some sprinkling drizzle, but that kind of moved out pretty quickly. The clouds remaining a little gray, dark in some spots, but largely pretty quiet up here right now. I just got off the phone with Grant County Emergency Management, and they say the worst of tonight's severe weather is expected to hit the Platteville area around 6 p.m., so in a roughly, hour and a half, 2 hours from now. Large hail, even baseball size is possible, but of course we won't know really those readings until obviously that weather hits. But the overall message is that the worst of the severe weather is expected to hit the southwest Wisconsin area here. So emergency management says to stay weather-wise, be alert to those conditions. If you do have to travel, make sure your vehicle is stocked and prepared. We'll be tracking those conditions here in southwest Wisconsin all throughout tonight. For now, live in Platteville, Armand Rahman, News 3 Now.
Armand, thank you very much. We'll check back with you later. Well, 2 men are in jail after a shooting on Madison's west side turned deadly yesterday, marking the 2nd homicide this year in Madison.
Within 3 hours of the incident, Madison police arrested Jarvius Davis and Charles Washington White. The 2 men are facing intentional homicide and firearms possession charges, but have not yet been charged. The shooting happened in a parking lot on Tree Lane on the city's west side. Just before noon yesterday, police say they were able to recover a handgun that they believe was used in the crime. Madison Police Chief Sean Barnes says he's confident in how the investigation has progressed so far as they work to determine a motive.
We just know that there was ongoing conflict between the two. We're not sure or haven't verified what that conflict was about. Again, that goes to motive. And we want to be sure, because you're speaking to someone's intent, you're speaking to why someone didn't like, and the only one of those persons can tell us that right now.
The victim is being identified as a 39-year-old man who suffered multiple gunshot wounds before being pronounced dead at the scene. Police have not released his name.
Chandler Halderson, who was found guilty last year in the murder and dismemberment of his parents, is appealing his conviction. Online court records show Halderson's attorney, Michael Covey, filed a notion of appeal yesterday. Halderson was convicted last year and sentenced to life in prison without parole. Halderson was found guilty on all 8 charges filed against him: 2 counts of first-degree intentional homicide, 2 counts of mutilating a corpse, 2 counts of hiding a corpse, and 2 counts of providing false information about a missing person after a multi-week trial in January 2022. A Manhattan grand jury's unprecedented indictment of former President Trump is expected to be unsealed on Tuesday.
New York City is beefing up security ahead of Trump's arraignment. Bradley Blackburn has the latest from outside the courthouse in Manhattan.
CBS News has learned former President Donald Trump will travel to New York on Monday to surrender himself before his court appearance the following day. Secret Service agents will escort Trump to his arraignment, where the grand jury's historic indictment will be formally unsealed, and the former president will be asked to enter a plea. The case centers around payments made to adult film actress Stormy Daniels before the 2016 presidential election.
We don't know what's in the indictment, so we could be looking at campaign finance charges. We could be looking at wire fraud, at banking fraud.
The NYPD, FBI Joint Counterterrorism Task Force, and U.S. Secret Service are among the agencies coordinating security ahead of Trump's court appearance here next week.
He's not worried at all. I mean, he's upset, angry. He is being persecuted politically. That is clear to many people, not only on the right, but on the left.
Trump is expected to be fingerprinted and photographed for a mugshot, but not placed in handcuffs. Many Republicans, including former Vice President Mike Pence, are coming to Trump's defense.
The unprecedented indictment of a former president of the United States for a campaign finance issue is an outrage.
Friday, supporters gathered near Trump's Florida estate.
This is going to put him in the office right now. So let him arrest him. He's going to win.
After the arraignment, Trump is expected to return to Florida aboard his private jet. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
The Secret Service, NYPD, court authorities, and other officials are meeting today to plan for the complicated security logistics surrounding the former president's arraignment. And the Trump indictment is sending shockwaves across the political environment, including here in Wisconsin.
So how is the news going to shape the Supreme Court race next Tuesday, a race in which Trump himself has endorsed a candidate? Political reporter Will Keneally is here with more. Will?
That's right. So we heard a pretty consistent outcry from Wisconsin congressional Republicans last night in reaction to the news, claiming that it was a misuse of the justice system. But how will that impact the judicial race that we have before us next week? We caught up with Dan Kelly, who Trump endorsed in the race during a campaign stop in Watertown today.
Not really. I expect that everyone follows the rule of law, high or low. And that is applicable to everyone in our country. Our entire form of government is based on that. So I think it's just important that everyone in that process be responsible with how they're using that authority.
So we also asked him how much he thinks the news will impact voters. He says that he's not sure, adding that he thinks that the focus of the race will continue to be what it has been so far. For him, that means constitutional small c conservatism, sticking true to the original document. We also don't know how this news will shape the race on the left, with candidate Janet Protasewicz. We'll explore more on that impact coming up tonight at 5.
All right, we'll see you at 5, Will. Thank you. Pope Francis baptized a newborn today in the pediatric ward of the hospital in Rome, where he's being treated for bronchitis. The Pope appeared in good physical condition. He paid visit to some young patients, bringing them chocolate eggs and copies of the book Jesus Was Born in Bethlehem of Judea. Francis is expected to leave the hospital tomorrow, pending the results of his latest medical tests, and he is scheduled to take part in a Palm Sunday service.
Today, President Biden visited the areas of Mississippi ravaged by tornadoes last week to look at the damage, bringing news of government support to help those impacted by the storms. This visit comes as more storms expected to hit. That's according to the National Weather Service. The president announced the government will pay 100% of the recovery shelter costs and cleanup costs for the next 30 days.
And if you don't have insurance or you're underinsured, FEMA can help you get started by funding your home repairs, replacing some lost and damaged property like cars and refrigerators.
The National Weather Service said that in addition to Mississippi, there is a high possibility of storms that hit again in the Deep South and, of course, here in the upper Midwest.
The Centers for Disease Control has issued a salmonella warning linked to flour. Investigators are working to identify which brands are involved. As of now, a dozen people have been sickened across 11 states. The CDC warns that any unbaked flour can have germs in it like salmonella, and it's warning against making things like homemade Play-Doh using raw flour. The CDC says to use heat-treated flour instead.
Well, after raising $1 million, a Madison TikTok creator is aiming to raise another $1 million. Mercury Stardust, the handy ma'am, co-hosted a live stream the other day to fundraise for trans health care. After raising $1 million, the TikTok-a-thon is running until 10 p.m. tonight, aiming to raise another $1 million. Tune in on TikTok or text Stardust at 44321 for more info. Good for her.
It's a lot of money.
Well, it's one of country music's biggest nights, the CMT Awards.
They are going to be handed out Sunday night in Austin, Texas. CBS travel reporter Wendy Gillette checks out the Austin music scene for us when Live at 4 continues.
You're watching News 3 Now, Live at 4.
At Gruber Law Offices, you pay us nothing until we win your case. It costs you nothing up front to get the results and compensation you deserve. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
There were severe health complications with my baby when I was pregnant. We made the decision to have an abortion so our daughter wouldn't suffer. Dan Kelly doesn't believe that women should even have that freedom. On the Supreme Court, Dan Kelly will uphold the criminal ban on abortion. Someone you love might struggle with a pregnancy like I did. And that's why we can't have an extremist like Dan Kelly on the Supreme Court.
Family is just very important. She's my sister, and we depend on each other a lot.
She's the rock of the family. She's the person who holds everything together.
It's a battle, you know, I'm gonna be there.
Keytruda and chemotherapy meant treating my cancer with 2 different types of medicine.
In a clinical trial, Keytruda and chemotherapy was proven to help people live longer than chemotherapy alone. Keytruda is used to treat more patients with advanced lung cancer than any other immunotherapy. Keytruda may be used with certain chemotherapies as your first treatment. If you have advanced non-squamous non-small cell lung cancer and you do not have an abnormal EGFR or ALK gene. Keytruda can cause your immune system to attack healthy parts of your body during or after treatment. This may be severe and lead to death. See your doctor right away if you have cough, shortness of breath, chest pain, diarrhea, severe stomach pain, severe nausea or vomiting, headache, light sensitivity, eye problems, irregular heartbeat, extreme tiredness, constipation, dizziness or fainting, changes in appetite, thirst or urine, confusion, memory problems, muscle pain or weakness, fever, rash, itching or flushing. There may be other side effects. Tell your doctor about all your medical conditions, including immune system problems. If you've had or plan to have an organ or stem cell transplant, receive chest radiation, or have a nervous system problem.
It feels good to be here for them.
Living longer is possible. It's true. Keytruda from Merck. Ask your doctor about Keytruda.
Spring is in the air, and you know what that means. It's Feldco season.
Feldco season. It means 50% off windows with no money down, no payments, and no interest until 2024. So you can replace those eyesores without breaking the bank. It means getting the windows you want fast, so your home's ready for the warmer weather ahead. It's the season of home renewal. It's Feldco season. 50% off windows ends Friday.
Call now.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Feldco.
No one plans to be in an accident, but having the proper insurance coverage can help if one happens. Protect yourself before an accident so we can protect you after. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Welcome back. New technology is giving a voice to patients who struggle to use their own.
It's a lip-reading app that researchers say is changing lives. When Linda Phillips does her nursing rounds at this hospital in England, she's in perfect sync with her patients. A lip-reading app drives the conversation, capturing short recordings of a person's lips. It allows patients like Nathan Armstrong, who had a tracheotomy, thank you,
Tough one.
to mouth his message when speaking is too difficult.
because as you know, his breathing is very hard and tiring. So it helps me to communicate.
The speech recognition app for the voice impaired, known as Sravi, is being tried out at Vanderbilt University in Nashville and several hospitals in the UK. The app can decipher 40 phrases with 90% accuracy. Since patients can also use the high-tech tool at home, doctors say it could speed up rehab.
Another gloomy Social Security report. The report says Americans' checks will get smaller in 2034 if Congress doesn't step in to fix the problem. It says the combined Social Security trust funds, which help support payouts for the elderly, survivors, and disabled, will run dry that year. That means the program's continuing income will only cover 80% of benefits owed. About 66 million Americans received Social Security benefits last year.
Americans are getting older, and that may be a big reason behind the labor shortage in the U.S. That's according to a new study from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. It says the current labor force participation rate stands at 62.5%, which is below pre-COVID-19 levels, and they found nearly all of the gap could be explained by the U.S. population aging. They say Americans getting older has caused a rise in the number of retirements.
Inflation appears to be easing up a bit. The Commerce Department today reported that personal consumption expenditures index rose 5% for the 12 months ending in February. That is lower than January's downwardly revised 5.3% gain. The Fed tracks that index as a way to measure inflation.
Stocks surged on Wall Street, putting a cap on a first quarter rally. The Dow Industrials gained 407 points, ending the month and quarter at 33,266. The Nasdaq added 206 points. The S&P 500 was up 55. Well, CBS will host this year's CMT Music Awards on Sunday night, held for the first time in Austin, Texas.
Earlier this week, I talked to CBS News correspondent Wendy Gillette. She had a preview of how the city of Austin will welcome the awards ceremony.
Susan, if you've never been to Austin, this is a city that absolutely revolves around music, and the preparations for the CMT Awards are well underway. You can see over here they are building a platform where the red carpet will take place, and inside they've been working on the set since Thursday. Hosting the CMT Awards for the first time in Austin is a big deal, and people here are very excited. Austin resident and country Americana singer-songwriter Rob Baird performed this past weekend in his home city, known as the live music capital of the world. He moved here from Memphis in 2010.
Austin's changed, I think, in a lot of ways, but also stayed the same. Like, obviously, the Saxon Pub is still here.
Saxon Pub is where Baird played his first Austin show, an iconic fixture of the city's music scene.
You name it, we've seen it, you know, in every genre, but basically, you know, we do 3 to 4 bands a night every night here for 33 years.
Over at Anton's nightclub, open since 1975, blues rock guitarist Paul Val took the stage Saturday night, as twirling dancers filled the floor at the Broken Spoke Honky Tonk, now almost 60 years old.
We have over 200 live music venue establishments and performance spaces in Austin.
Here in downtown Austin, the city pays tribute in several ways to a legend known for his own brand of country music, singer and songwriter Willie Nelson. And this weekend, Austin will welcome country music's greats, including Blake Shelton, Lainey Wilson, Keith Urban, and Carrie Underwood for the CMT Music Awards at the Moody Center.
The venue just opened last April. It's a beautiful facility hosting concerts, sporting events, professional bull riding. It's going to be a fun event.
I think they're going to love it down here.
Boutique Hotel Zaza is gearing up, offering a special Cowboys and Caviar package, which includes a Longhorn Denali ride to the event. We stayed for special rates there and at the new Lauren Hotel at Lady Bird Lake.
It's one of the only luxury hotels south of the lake with beautiful downtown views, morning or night.
Hungry guests can chow down on brisket at Cooper's Old Time Pit Barbecue or go upscale at Garrison inside the Fairmont. Flame-grilled steaks will help any visitor feel like a cowboy, especially if they don a new pair of Tecovas handmade boots. The CMT Music Awards will air live on CBS at 7 p.m. Sunday.
Very exciting. Wendy,
Susan?
I love those boots. You look great. You look like you're ready to do some line dancing. How much does a sweet pair of those boots, how much will it run you?
Yeah, around $275. They were a little bit too pricey for me. I'm a New York City girl, so I said, when am I going to actually wear these boots? Didn't buy them, but I got to say, I've got a little bit of remorse. I might have to go back there and get them.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. They're terrific. You know, they call Austin the live music capital of the world. Do you think it holds up to that name?
Oh, definitely. You can come to 3-4 shows in one night, all fantastic, all different genres of music, blues, country. You can go honky-tonk dancing, which I did. I did not try it, I must say. See, I need my cowboy boots to go honky-tonk dancing. That's what I need.
That's exactly right. Boy, that barbecue in your story made us all drool. What was your favorite thing you ate in Austin?
I would say the restaurant Garrison was really great. Upscale, amazing, amazing steak. So if you're a meat-loving person, come to Austin. You will get your fill of meat here.
Oh, now I have to go. A lot of people say Austin reminds them very much of Madison, but without the boots. Maybe we'll have to make a trip there soon. All right, Wendy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We have snow boots.
I was just going to say, different kind of boots, right. It's a great city. I'd love to see it.
I'd like to see it.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
They say it's a big Madison.
That's what I've heard. I don't know. She didn't say it. She wasn't sure about that.
I don't know if Wendy's ever been here. So. Yeah. All right, Sunday night.
Yeah, Sunday night on CBS.
Well, it's that time of year. Bald eagles are laying their eggs all across the country.
But one dad eagle in Missouri might be a little disappointed as time goes on. We'll tell you why coming up after Greg's stormy forecast.
Spring mattress savings start now at Ashley. For a limited time, get a Serta Perfect Sleeper for only $8 per month with no money down. Or save up to $500 on Purple closeout mattresses. And free local delivery at Wisconsin's #1 furniture and mattress retailer, Ashley.
An important message for Americans age 50 to 85.
How's John?
Oh, much better.
That was quite a scare.
Got us thinking about a lot of things, like life insurance. If something happened to either one of us, we'd really be in trouble. But where can we get coverage with John's health problems on a fixed income?
Go with the sure thing. Colonial Penn.
Friends have been telling friends about Colonial Penn Guaranteed Acceptance Whole Life Insurance for more than 50 years, and with good reason. If you're between the ages of 50 and 85, it's a sure thing. Your acceptance is guaranteed because full benefits are not paid in the first 2 years. You don't need a physical exam, and we won't ask about your health. You cannot be turned down. And the price? Options start at $9.95 a month, less than 35 cents a day.
I don't know. What if the price goes up as we get older?
With Colonial Penn, your rate is another sure thing. It will never increase. That's because it comes with something you won't find in other policies, a lifetime rate lock. The rate you start with is the one you keep, guaranteed. And you should know this coverage can last a lifetime. Some insurance policies end once you reach a certain age, not this one. As long as you pay your premiums, it's yours for life. Call the number on your screen now, and we'll send you free information by mail. You have nothing to lose, because at Colonial Penn, your satisfaction is another sure thing. Every policy we issue comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you've been thinking about getting life insurance to help your family with funeral expenses and other bills you may leave behind, call for free information today. There's no obligation, and you'll receive a free beneficiary planner just for calling.
Same time next week?
Sure thing.
Call 1-800-248-6940 for your free information and your free beneficiary planner. That's 1-800-248-6940. There's no obligation. 1-800-248-6940. Call now.
All right, team. We got a big project coming up. And it all starts with ordering promotional products.
I'm on it. 4imprint makes it easy to get the logoed products you're looking for. The latest in apparel, drinkware, bags, high-tech items, and more. You can be certain of getting it right at 4imprint.com.
Come on out. I'm on it.
4imprint for certain. Spring savings start now at Ashley. Sofas start at $8 per month. Queen bedroom sets start at $13 per month. Sectionals start at $17 per month. Plus, choose from 6 months interest-free financing or low monthly payment options. And free local delivery. Ashley.
Well, take a look at this. Skiers at Sundance Resort in Utah are staring down a stunning snowy sight, that white wall known as a rare powder cloud avalanche. The Utah Avalanche Center posted this video of the extraordinary event taking place in the well-known middle finger area. Mother Nature played nice with all the dangerous debris stopping short of the skiers, but the rest of the snow and ice washed over the skiers, leaving whiteout conditions.
Yeah, that's a terrifying situation. Beautiful video.
Well, this is not. This is safe. It's just
as long as you're safe.
Yeah. They've had, I think, a couple of resorts already had 800 inches up there too for this year. So it's just a little bit.
Weird weather everywhere.
Okay,
yeah, unfortunately, we got the other S word going on, severe weather right now. So we do.
What's the window, the peak window for
probably
us?
now until about 8 or 8:30. I think then after that we should probably be clear. But for the next 3 to 4 hours, it's going to get quite busy and quite.
Things are starting to pop up.
Yes, all that activity is coming up. So I'll break all that down after the break.
My experience going to Ortho Teen was a 10. It was phenomenal. My life now, after having the conformist knee, I have no pain. I'm walking, I'm driving. I can go to work. I feel like I could be in my 20s again.
Soon you'll head to the polls to decide the balance of the Supreme Court. The choice is clear: an extremist or a common-sense judge, Judge Janet Protasewicz. She'll protect our rights and our freedoms. She'll be fair, impartial, and independent. Judge Janet Protasewicz believes in women's freedom to make their own decisions when it comes to abortion.
I'm Judge Janet Protasewicz, and I'm asking for your vote by April 4th.
Make a move in the most electrifying Honda vehicles yet. Like the CR-V and Accord, with available hybrid powertrains designed for more responsive performance and more advanced tech. When you drive a Honda, you're driving with the 2022 Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com Best Value brand. Get moving and find the Honda for you. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or visit your local Honda dealer today.
For back pain, I've always been a take 2 and call in the morning guy. But my new doctor recommended Salonpas. Without another pill upsetting my stomach, I get powerful, effective, and safe relief. Salonpas, it's good medicine.
Team, I need a volunteer. We need promotional products.
I'm on it. 4imprint makes promotional product success easy. For high-quality items, go to 4imprint.com.
4imprint, for certain.
A man brutally attacked and sexually assaulted a woman. The victim spent endless nights unable to sleep, plagued by nightmares. Judge Janet Protasewicz called the offender many females' worst nightmare, but she cut his sentence to only 2.5 years in prison. Judge Janet's dangerous judgment puts our families at risk. That's why sheriffs throughout Wisconsin support Dan Kelly. He's the only candidate we can trust to keep violent felons off our streets. On April 4th, vote Justice Dan Kelly. Fair Courts America is responsible for the content of this advertising.
My experience going to Ortho Teen was a 10. It was phenomenal. My life now, after having the conformist knee, I have no pain. I'm walking, I'm driving. I can go to work. I feel like I could be in my 20s again.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Yeah, things are starting to pop around the area. We just have one cell that actually is to the southwest near Perry. That actually is starting to intensify a little bit, kind of take a little turn with it. It's heading northeast, but on the upside, another cell just developing too. So all this is pushing to the northeast about 40, 45 miles per hour. That's really the cell we're watching right now. There's a lot more activity going on to the south, but for right now, that one has the potential then to become severe as it pushes up to the northeast. We got another couple cells up to the north. As you see, it's heading northeast. It'll be impacting this. This one may actually take a little bit of a turn and head towards Madison here in about 40 minutes if it stays together. So that's what we're looking at. Bigger picture-wise, if we kind of zoom out, a lot of the action still going on to the south. You notice there's a cell we just mentioned here, southwest of Madison. There's a couple more also beginning to pop up, and then one just east of Lone Rock that actually is increasing too. They'll intensify as they get all the way up to Madison, but if they go further north of Madison, they should start falling apart because that warm front is situated right there. There's colder air to the north. To the west, there's a lot of those thunderstorms. That's the line eventually that's going to push eastward. that's had some hail production and also some tornadoes. If we zoom out big picture, there's a lot of severe weather going on here. Kind of this line is starting to develop here when you have tornado warnings, large hail, and then further east, of course, on the other side here, my other side here, that's Janesville. That's pushing northeast towards Milwaukee. That hasn't been quite severe yet, but if you notice the pop-up between the two areas, that's what we're watching right now. That'll come in here a little bit later time. Speaking of storm reports, a lot of hail with this, large hail. You also have, there's confirmed tornadoes on the ground with this line. And as we look to the other direction here, not much with hail going on towards Chicago. Like again, we're kind of in that split area, but we're starting to see those cells begin to bubble up. Future track kind of shows that there's a few areas ahead that'll pop up with thunderstorms, but then the main line really is going to be watching after 6. This is probably going to be almost a squall line, so damaging winds will probably be a big threat. Could have embedded little tornadoes spin up with this line. It'll live through about 8 p.m. Once we get past 8 p.m. and it shifts north, the severe threat really is going to be over with. We'll start getting kind of a dry air being pushed in here overnight. Still gusty winds. You see the temperatures will start to fall. And then we have to tune in for tomorrow as the backside of the system comes. You can see the low just near La Crosse. It'll come through and we'll start getting colder air. By the time you wake up tomorrow morning, we'll probably have snow on the, well, at least snow falling. Northerly winds start picking up, so it'll kind of be a return to winter. So quite a bit of drastic change. We're going to go from some severe weather to almost winter weather with strong northerly winds tomorrow. That'll be pretty chilly. We'll only get to the low 40s. Good news, by afternoon time Saturday, we should be clearing up, but only get up to about 41, 42 degrees. Clear skies for Saturday, and that should set up for a fairly nice, pleasant Sunday. So just keep in mind. Once again, the tornado watch, we have one to the west till 8 p.m., one over to the east is till 10 p.m. So once we get past 8 or 10, we should be good to go. So we just got to make our way through the next 4 to 6 hours to deal with all this action. Just remember safety rules with severe thunderstorms that are out there. Secure loose items. Once again, don't forget about the lightning threat because that still is pretty good with any type of thunderstorms. That is really probably one of the main killers in a lot of things. And tornadoes, once again, we're in the tornado watch, so any severe thunderstorm that does happen to pop up can spin up a tornado without notice, too, and that's one thing. And especially tornadoes, if you're away from the house, because that's really the most dangerous situation. Try to get into a sturdy building as possible. Last resort, you might want to ditch and get into a ditch or the lowest lying area. Make your profile as low as possible. Once again, don't try to outrun it or outmaneuver a tornado because they can turn different directions. Buildings, coolers, freezers are probably one of the best areas because just they can withstand a direct hit with a tornado. Something to keep in mind as we go about. So once we get past this day of Sunday, we're going to see temperatures actually fairly comfortable. And then we have more storms coming probably next week when we get back into the 50s. And this could be another severe potential day, maybe Tuesday into Tuesday night. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Otherwise, beyond that, it looks like we might have an extended dry period. We will see if that goes on. But for right now, I think Sunday for Easter looks actually not too bad. That's the wrong symbol. It should be probably partly cloudy, no rain right now to be expected.
Boy, but some of the storms in Iowa look
that whole
ominous.
line is really coming together. And when it starts coming together, it's going to race northeast really quickly. So that's the damaging wind threat is probably the biggest with that. But you can spin up those little tornadoes in that line, too. So right now, the single supler cells that we're dealing with, those are kind of dangerous just because of hail and the tornado threat. But I really think watching that line for damaging winds is going to be something this evening.
All right, keep it right here.
Yep.
Keep you updated.
Thank you, Greg.
Well, an eagle in Missouri is demonstrating great dad skills, except he's trying to hatch a rock rather than an egg.
CNN's Jeannie Mose reports the experts are blaming springtime hormones.
No wonder Murphy the eagle looks like he's sitting on a secret. He is. Instead of incubating an egg, Murphy's incubating a rock. How is he behaving with the rock?
He's very protective of the rock.
He squawks when another eagle lands on a branch above the nest Murphy built on the ground. He was injured as a chick and can't fly, which is why he's here at the World Bird Sanctuary outside St. Louis, Missouri.
And he just seems very content with his rock.
A keeper shot this video after first noticing Murphy acting unusually guarded about a rock in the middle of a nest. Normally, eagle parents turn their eggs every few hours, and Murphy can be seen nudging his rock. He settles down to keep it warm. It takes about 35 days for an eagle egg to hatch. Will he be sitting there for like a month?
Possibly. He might sit there for a little bit longer just to, because it hasn't hatched.
People are smitten with Murphy's dad skills, but feel bad that he's incubating a dud. Someone proposed naming the rock Dwayne the Rock after you-know-who. Another suggested the sanctuary swap the rock with a chick.
For what reason? You know, he's very attached to his rock.
A fertilized eagle egg would be hard to come by, and if they slipped in, say, a goose egg, who knows how Murphy might react. The sanctuary CEO says birds whose eggs don't hatch properly tend not to show signs of being depressed. So when you joke, who's gonna tell him?
Yeah. I don't think anybody has to tell him. I think he'll figure it out.
Humans went through a pet rock phase. Why can't Murphy? Jeannie Mose, CNN, New York.
Those instincts are so strong.
Oh, buddy, and he's got the good dad instincts.
Yeah, he does. Well, maybe it'll hatch. Coming up next, our On Live Before, we take you to the movies as Dungeons & Dragons makes its debut.
And then coming up next hour at 5, our reporter Braden Ross breaks down how to make sure you're prepared for the coming storms tonight. That's coming up at 5.
Have you heard? We've outgrown our space. Again! Save up to half off floor samples and special orders at Dwellings Construction Sale. Dwellings, interior design and home furnishings. Still Madison's best kept $150 secret.
It's Stop the Madness month. If your energy bills are too high, stop the madness. If your comfort is out of balance and you go straight from heat to AC, stop the madness. If you've had it with outside noise, stop the madness. Get insulated now and save up to $2,000 with the energy tax credit plus our madness discount. But the clock runs out at the end of the month, so call today.
USA Insulation.
She locked him in his room, starved her son to death. The 16-year-old boy weighed only 42 pounds when he died. She could have got 25 years, but she got lucky. Judge Janet Protasewicz set her free. No time in prison. He strangled and raped his 79-year-old aunt. He faced 25 years, but he got lucky too. Protasewicz let him off with only 5. Tell Judge Protasewicz this is not justice. Stop protecting criminals.
Outlets at the Dells, an attraction not to be missed. With over 60 of the world's biggest brands, we thrill family vacationers, trendsetters, and all who love a smoking hot discount. We are all about the thrill of the deal, the joy of finding the thing you forgot to pack, the swimsuit that's the hit of the park, the dress that makes you walk with swagger, and the discounts that no one else can touch. Save even more with 25% off and get a free Outlets gift card. Visit outletsatthedells.com for coupon and details.
We so amazing.
The stylish Chevy Equinox RS. And Chevy Blazer RS.
So captivating.
You don't have to be an influencer to be an influencer.
The crowd go crazy.
The RS family of Chevy SUVs. Definitely worth a follow. Well-qualified buyers get 2.9% financing on all 2023 Equinox models or get $1,000 cash allowance on all 2023 Equinox models. Plus, current Chevy owners get an additional $750 cash allowance.
Have you heard? We've outgrown our space. Again! Save up to half off floor samples and special orders at Dwellings Construction Sale. Dwellings, interior design and home furnishings. Still Madison's best kept $150 secret.
IRS agent is waiting for your call back.
When you've been scammed, when a business won't listen, when you get obstacles instead of solutions, don't give up. Call for action.
I'm News 3 Now's Leah Lynchide. Our Call for Action team is here for you, exposing scams, mediating consumer disputes, and getting results. Contact us by phone or on channel3000.com.
Call for action, only on News 3 Now.
We're taking action for you.
Given the weather satellite a spin, we end up in Chicago. We're looking northwest from the Adler Planetarium.
Oh, I love seeing that skyline. What a great shot.
No storms there yet.
65 degrees and cloudy in the League City.
Well, the role-playing game involving 20-sided dice and your imagination is now a major motion picture.
Rick Damigella reports.
We're thieves, but we help the wrong person steal the wrong thing and unleash the greatest evil the world has ever known.
How many of your tabletop role-playing game sessions started out that way? Chris Pine and Michelle Rodriguez gather a party of adventurers to undo the evil in Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves.
The wonderful thing about Dungeons & Dragons, not having known anything about it, or role-playing games at all, is that essentially what it is, it's a game for actors. All you're doing is playing pretend like you would in an improv class. You're given a certain set of circumstances, obstacles, powers, backstory, and then someone says go and, you know, start playing.
I don't mind that. Rodriguez went beyond play, performing roughly half of her own stunts.
Anytime you see a guy being lifted over the head and swung across the room, that's my stunt double. You know, but yeah, I learned all the choreography so I could match her.
The movie is based on a small portion of the massive lore of the nearly 50-year-old role-playing game.
We started with the characters. You know, it really had to be about relatable people that you would invest in and care about their journey. And then we built out. We were faced with these very unique Dungeons & Dragons-y challenges in how they're going to be able to pull off this heist in a way that is cinematically appealing, but also very true to the mechanics of the game.
This one's dangerous. But whatever happens, we'll be ready.
Rolling for initiative in Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
And that game was invented in Lake Geneva.
Yeah, how about that? Yeah, you did a story on it.
Yeah, I've never played it.
I never have
Don't know
either.
how to play. It's a good movie, though. We'll find out Will Loper thinks about it on Monday. A lot of people worked from home during the pandemic, and many want to keep it that way.
And for some of those folks, home can be anywhere in the world. A look at digital nomads when Live at 4 continues.
At Harker Heating and Cooling, you can save a whole bunch of money when you buy an air conditioner. You know what's even better? Saving even more money when you purchase an air conditioner and a furnace at the same time.
Harker Heating and Cooling.
A man brutally attacked and sexually assaulted a woman. The victim spent endless nights unable to sleep, plagued by nightmares. Judge Janet Protasewicz called the offender many females' worst nightmare, but she cut his sentence to only 2.5 years in prison. Judge Janet's dangerous judgment puts our families at risk. That's why sheriffs throughout Wisconsin support Dan Kelly. He's the only candidate we can trust to keep violent felons off our streets. On April 4th, vote Justice Dan Kelly. Fair Courts America is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Now's the time to save on big projects. Hurry into Menards for 11% off everything. Get 11% off easy flooring updates for your home. Find your style and save 11% on Patriot Lighting. Transform your home with 11% off new Mastercraft doors. Or go even bigger and get 11% off a new kitchen. Don't miss out. There's no limit to what you can save with 11% off everything at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
She locked him in his room, starved her son to death. The 16-year-old boy weighed only 42 pounds when he died. She could have got 25 years, but she got lucky. Judge Janet Protasewicz set her free. No time in prison. He strangled and raped his 79-year-old aunt. He faced 25 years, but he got lucky too. Protasewicz let him off with only 5. Tell Judge Protasewicz this is not justice. Stop protecting criminals.
Time is running out for your chance to win a dream vacation to Hawaii when you test rest a Beauty Rest Black mattress at Steinhoffel's. And right now, get your choice of an Apple Watch or Apple AirPods with a purchase of a Beauty Rest Black. So get in and test rest a Beauty Rest Black mattress at Steinhoffel's for your chance to win a trip to sunny Hawaii. Shop in store or online today at steinhoffels.com.
Remember this? And this, and the false elector scheme. In Wisconsin, extremist Dan Kelly was the right-wing lawyer behind the scenes of it all. The bipartisan January 6th Commission revealed Kelly advised Trump operatives as special counsel to overturn the will of the people and overthrow the election results. Kelly even went on tour promoting the big lie. On April 4th, vote like democracy depends on it, because it does.
At Harker Heating and Cooling, you can save a whole bunch of money when you buy an air conditioner. You know what's even better? Saving even more money when you purchase an air conditioner and a furnace at the same time.
Harker Heating and Cooling.
All Right now, no traffic incidents to speak of, but we do have the weather that's impacting even some parts of the Beltline right now. If you look over Madison, the cell to the west, that's the one that's in the west side of the Beltline. That's impacting there. You can see there as we zoom in, it's also draped all the way down to Mount Horeb, too. So Highway 150, 92, you'll be impacted by that thunderstorm that's occurring over that area. To the north, one that's actually heading to Highway 12 and then up towards the Dells. This one's been spinning just west of there, so there's another thunderstorm to speak of. And then Janesville, oh, those areas, just light showers really right now that's been impacted some of the roadways there. Big picture shows there's a cell we talked about right there and the one to the north. Both are shifting off to the northeast. We have a lot more activity then beginning to approach southwest Wisconsin. We zoom in, there's your two cells to speak of. So just pay attention to the weather tonight. Stay tuned. We'll update you on all the severe weather that'll be happening, guys.
All right. Thanks, Rick. 20 top Belgian chocolate chefs exhibited a collection of outlandish Easter creations this week. The 19 to 23-inch tall eggs, all edible but not for sale, were exhibited on pedestals worthy of an art museum in a chic Brussels hotel where members of the public could come and meet the chefs. It took British-born chocolatier Michael Lewis Anderson only one day to make his royal blue Fabergé-style egg using 100 pounds of chocolate. Getting it here was a bit scary, he says, because obviously you don't want to have a Tower of Pisa effect. The exhibit runs until after Easter.
Don't lick the exhibits.
Those are beautiful.
They are.
Well, you've heard of sleep conditions like insomnia and narcolepsy.
But there is a less common malady that isn't talked about as much. It's called idiopathic hypersomnia. And a person suffering from it is extremely tired during the day, despite getting enough sleep. Those suffering from this sleep condition are exhausted when they should be awake and alert. Doctors say the first thing to do is simply make sure that a person is getting sufficient sleep. The next step is seeing if other sleep disorders may be at play.
Things like restless legs or obstructive sleep apnea are much more common than other conditions like narcolepsy or idiopathic hypersomnia.
Medication can sometimes help manage the sleepiness. As of 2021, there is new medicine on the market to help with idiopathic hypersomnia, and the Cleveland Clinic is also conducting a clinical trial of another medication.
Interesting. Well, the office can now be anywhere in the world for a growing number of Americans. All they need is a laptop and a decent Wi-Fi connection.
These so-called digital nomads work online from wherever they choose, and they rarely stay in one fixed location.
One popular destination is Lisbon, Portugal. That's where Rami Incencio spent a day in the life of a non-traditional workplace.
Portugal is known for its beautiful beaches, delicious delights, and centuries-old architecture. But it also has fast, modern Wi-Fi, a low cost of living, and easy access to the rest of Europe. That's made it a top hotspot for digital nomads like Kendall Lobo. She was working from home for a San Diego-based financial technology firm, then realized
I can do the exact same job from a completely different country.
Kendall works U.S. West Coast hours. That's 3:30 to 11 p.m. here in Lisbon.
I have the morning and the whole day to explore or do whatever. And if I'm traveling, then I'll take like a morning flight so that by 3 p.m. I can be working.
On the other side of the world, in Bangkok, Thailand, David Tan has lived a digital nomad life for the past 3 years. His lifestyle has taken him around the world, living in 15 countries on 5 continents. He's a former software engineer who now freelances, and he's seen the nomad community come into the mainstream over the years.
It's never been easier to be a nomad just because there's so many services catered to nomads.
Those services include co-working spaces, which provide digital nomads places to mingle with unique, creative, or inspiring offerings. Like Kendall, David says his rent is much cheaper abroad.
So my rent right now is about under $500.
Back in San Francisco, for the same amount of space, how much do you think you'd be paying?
Easily $3,000, $4,000.
On a U.S. salary, that might sound like a steal, but for locals, they can and often are priced out. Portuguese labor historian Raquel Varela says she's not opposed to people moving to her country.
You want to know other countries, you want to know other people. This is incredibly positive.
But the social activist does take issue with the housing inequality created by foreigners with U.S. dollars and more buying power.
Everything enters in the huge game of competition, and you smash the majority of the population.
Rami Inocencio, CBS News, Lisbon.
And while some digital nomads have no plans to slow down, for many it's a short-term lifestyle.
Kendall says she plans to return to San Diego after a year and a half abroad, but she's not sure how long she'll stay put.
Interesting. I'd like to try it for a while.
We don't have that option.
We could broadcast from a phone.
Well, I guess that's true. I did it from my kitchen table during the pandemic, so you make it work.
All right, we'll have a final check of your forecast coming up.
There were severe health complications with my baby when I was pregnant. We made the decision to have an abortion so our daughter wouldn't suffer. Dan Kelly doesn't believe that women should even have that freedom. On the Supreme Court, Dan Kelly will uphold the criminal ban on abortion. Someone you love might struggle with a pregnancy like I did. And that's why we can't have an extremist like Dan Kelly on the Supreme Court.
This year at Ashley's anniversary sale, we were able to secure a more affordable price on the same great quality as before, and we're passing those savings on to you. And bonus savings on outdoor furniture. Plus, we're offering 5 years special financing only at Ashley.
A man brutally attacked and sexually assaulted a woman. The victim spent endless nights unable to sleep, plagued by nightmares. Judge Janet Protasewicz called the offender many females' worst nightmare, but she cut his sentence to only 2.5 years in prison. Judge Janet's dangerous judgment puts our families at risk. That's why sheriffs throughout Wisconsin support Dan Kelly. He's the only candidate we can trust to keep violent felons off our streets. On April 4th, vote Justice Dan Kelly. Fair Courts America is responsible for the content of this advertising.
On abortion rights, do you want extremist Dan Kelly holding the gavel? Kelly wants abortion banned even in cases of rape, incest, and the health of the mother. He'll uphold the 1849 criminal abortion law that allows doctors and nurses to be jailed for performing abortions. And he'll strip women of their freedom to make their own decision on abortion. So don't give Dan Kelly a gavel with your vote. He's just too extreme.
Our first warned meteorologists are tracking a severe storm headed in our direction. We'll have up-to-the-second information to keep you safe. And local politicians react to former President Donald Trump's indictment. Coming up at 5. It's a big goal.
If this becomes a sport in the WIA, that would be amazing.
And an invitation from the Green Bay Packers could help these young women put it in the end zone. Andrew Banstra catches up with Girls on the Gridiron. Saturday on News 3 Now at 10.
Looking at radar, we have two main areas. One area, Janesville, east of Batchin area, but we're watching that stuff to the southwest Wisconsin approach, and that has the potential to be strong, damaging winds, even tornadoes. That'll be marching across the area right now. There's the two cells, one west of Madison, one up near Prairie du Sac, but really the action is coming into southwest Wisconsin. And we'll keep track of that, so stay tuned at 5 o'clock for further updates.
All right, thank you, Greg. Well, the Final Four is on CBS tomorrow night. Here's our bracket.
There's our bracket that can't line a bird cage with it.
We don't have one team.
No.
We had 3 potential.
We were doing okay for a little while. Well, the dogs.
It's the Newshound's fault. So anyway, Final Four tomorrow here on CBS.
Here on CBS. Very exciting.
And we'll be right back with the Newshounds.
There were severe health complications with my baby when I was pregnant. We made the decision to have an abortion so our daughter wouldn't suffer. Dan Kelly doesn't believe that women should even have that freedom. On the Supreme Court, Dan Kelly will uphold the criminal ban on abortion. Someone you love might struggle with a pregnancy like I did. And that's why we can't have an extremist like Dan Kelly on the Supreme Court.
There are so many things we take for granted, and along with them, sometimes we take the people who depend on them for granted too. How can they survive with record increases in their basic cost of living, and through no fault of their own, they're being left behind? If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our energy and water providers are working together to keep you safely in your home. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
Hi, I'm Gary Canolti, and I'm inviting you on a holiday vacations tour.
Join me as we explore classic Italy, October 7th through the 15th. Discover Tuscany's charming countryside, Venice's grand waterways, and the magnificent art of Florence. We'll also spend time in the ancient city of Rome, visiting historical landmarks such as the Colosseum and the Sistine Chapel. Visit holidayvacations.com, keyword WISC, for more information and to watch a travel show. Or call 888-557-1020 for a free brochure.
All right, team, we got a big project coming up. And it all starts with ordering promotional products.
I'm on it. 4imprint makes it easy to get the logoed products you're looking for. The latest in apparel, drinkware, bags, high-tech items, and more. You can be certain of getting it right at 4imprint.com.
Come on out. I'm on it.
4imprint, for certain.
She locked him in his room, starved her son to death. The 16-year-old boy weighed only 42 pounds when he died. She could have got 25 years, but she got lucky. Judge Janet Protasewicz set her free. No time in prison. He strangled and raped his 79-year-old aunt. He faced 25 years, but he got lucky too. Protasewicz let him off with only 5. Tell Judge Protasewicz this is not justice. Stop protecting criminals.
The Newshounds World Headquarters has been busy this week with Louie and Oliver compiling the best animal stories.
It's time for this week's edition of the Newshounds.
Here's the Newshounds, Louie and Oliver, with their World News Roundup.
This week on the Newshounds, it's Panda Yoga.
One big, proud mother.
And don't mess with this guy.
But first, Taronga Zoo in Sydney is seriously excited to announce that their 3-month-old long-nosed fur seal pup, Kobe, has found his swimming flippers and taken a deep dive into the zoo's seal bay in front of excited onlookers. Kobe is doing swimmingly and has quickly taken to the water, with 13-year-old mom Kiki supervising nearby. Kobe was born on December 15th and spent the last 3 months behind the scenes in the zoo's seal nursery pool.
The Brookfield Zoo near Chicago has a new resident, John 2, a 26-year-old Western lowland gorilla arrived in early February from the St. Louis Zoo and has slowly become acclimated to his new home and the other members of the gorilla troop. He's now meeting zoogoers for the first time. A silverback gorilla plays an important role protecting members within the troop. He also maintains harmony among everyone and breaks up disputes if needed. John 2 is filling that important role at this zoo. Western lowland gorillas are listed as critically endangered, with only about 300,000 left in the wild.
A Great Dane in Pocahontas, Virginia just became a new mom times 21. Last week, Nominee went into labor and began the process of having 21 puppies. This Great Dane put in a great effort to give birth to 21 puppies in 27 hours. Great work, Mama. Nominee's owner expected her large dog to produce lots of pups, but not that many. And this is perhaps a potential miracle. Nominee was hit by a truck last year, found 16 hours after the incident, but all healed up now and a litter of little ones as evidence of the full recovery.
And finally, to have the life of this frisky giant panda. She's doing a little water yoga while enjoying her bath. Such exhilaration. This video was shot at the China Conservation and Research Center for Giant Pandas. You can see this fluffy sunbather, Duban, stretching herself and splashing around during her pool time. Duban was born in 2020. Her mom, Bao Bao, was born in Washington, D.C. and made her journey back to China in 2017. Here's hoping your weekend is as much fun as this.
And that's this week's edition of the Newshounds Now Update.
With a lot of pups and a lot of relaxing.
Oh, I want them.
That's our time for now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here Monday. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.